got word that Vince McMahon has sold his WWE network to Peacock streaming service owned by, I believe it is NBC Universal at this
Indeed.
point. Sold the whole WWE network. Now it isn't like a permanent thing. For the most part, it's like I heard in some reports he gets 200 million a year. 200 million. 200 mil a year, bro.
Man.
Just to rent. Basically, they're renting it out to NBC
hmm
Universal. And whenever the time comes, they could either keep renting it out to them, or they could put it back on their own streaming service. But for the most part, on the outside looking in, it's a win-win, right? Vince gets 200 mil.
Man.
The app itself only earned about 100 mil for the company yearly, so that's a big plus on their part, and that's job security, honestly, because they don't have they don't gotta bust their ass trying to sell a pay per view anymore. You know
Man.
what I'm saying? Like they cater to, man. What are you thinking?
Bro. All right. Let's really get into this real quick here, right?
Uh huh.
It's not a secret. There's a lot of wrestling references that get made throughout the course of the conversations that we have in various sessions, various topics. I don't even know where to start with this, to be honest, man. Like, the way I look at it, with the streaming wars and everything, the WWE network operated almost as an outside entity from your Netflix, your Hulu, your HBO Max, your Quibi, all of these apps that are meant to provide streaming content. WWE Network more or less operated in its own space, but it's weird because we all knew that it was out there. We
Right.
all knew that it was something that was accessible, but a select few individuals might be paying that $9.99 a month for the WWE Network. Like, for
Very
example,
true.
like my older brother has a subscription to the network right now. He doesn't watch any new content that's related to World Wrestling Entertainment. Most times I talk to him about it, he's watching shit from back in the day. Attitude Era and backwards is where he kind of draws that line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to your further point, to your other point, I mean, it secures the bag in a way that I don't know in a different time period it would be there. During the Monday Night Wars, and I don't want this to be the wrestling conversation because I'm sure we'll have that a different time. But
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. There was a time when Monday Night Raw was the biggest thing going. Every Monday night, upwards of 8 to 10 million people were watching wrestling on a Monday night. Like, nobody, I'm not gonna say nobody, but the general interest in that product is not what it used to be. So for the main commodity that the WWE currently has is that network. There's no sugarcoating it. The WWE network and the tape library that's attached to that subscription is the best resource currently that they have to keep eyes on their product.
Yeah, I agree, man. Wholeheartedly, man. I mean, you ain't telling no
Right?
lie, bro. No,
There,
no, you straight, man.
there,
Like,
yeah. There's really no two ways around it. So the thing that's interesting to me is the WWE Network launched in 2014 as an independent streaming service. They did a respectable number that catered to their hardcore audience. I never would have thought that within 10 years of that network launching and being an independent entity, that Vince McMahon would accept selling the rights to that to anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, especially as if you listen to the shoot interviews by
man,
Jim Cornette or Grilling with JR or whoever, Conan, whoever's out there, you know that this man is a control fucking freak.
right, right. And I think that the fact that this this was a commodity. We spoke about this earlier in prior conversations. I want to say over the summer of 2020, and I kind of want to
Yeah.
reiterate it here real quick. The industry standard for these streaming wars is to become a commodity and make your content enough to where one of the big dogs wants to pay you a price to get the rights to that. The only
Hmm.
thing that surprises me in all of this is that from being a wrestling fan and knowing the character of Vince McMahon and then what's actually being said about Vince McMahon, it's just still surprising to me that he gave up the rights to this app. Now, the flip side to that is this here, and this is a question that I want to ask you, right? In 5 years, when this Peacock app and NBC Universal have cornered the market on their content, The Office, Parks and Recs, eventually This Is Us as well, which is a great TV show. All of these things. In 5 years, when NBC Universal decides they no longer want to be in the movie business, meaning Universal Studios, and they're ready to make that big $100 billion sale, how do you think that affects any of this? Do you think that this was a chess move to kind of get their foothold in the streaming war, or do you think that eventually this could be a pawn for a bigger game? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we said this before. Somebody's gonna buy somebody out.
Yeah, man. No
You know what I'm saying?
bullshit.
You know what I mean? Somebody's card is gonna get pulled eventually. There's only going to be one man standing as technology and forms of entertainment get consolidated. So, because you've seen it happen with Fox. Fox, 20th Century Fox decided they were getting out of the live action movie business and were focusing more on sports and news. So, with Universal, is this them trying to plant their feet, or is it them just fattening up that pig so that eventually they can cash out?
Yo, man, I'm a speak to it with from two different perspectives. So speak from it from Vince and WWE. I'll speak on it from NBC Universal with their Peacock app. And I think for Vince and the WWE, it's no secret that the product is severely lacking in comparison to the Attitude Era, to the ruthless aggression era, to
Facts.
I mean, even if you want to go probably up to like 2012, 2013 was when you last got a little glimpse of what WWE slash WWF used to be. And Raw has been at all time low ratings. We got, the pandemic happening. We have so many inner turmoil things going on backstage that this is job security. This is literally
Yep.
job
Secure the
security
bag.
here. Secure the
Secure the
bag.
bag.
You're getting more than what you're getting right now. And it's literally like I could put out a shitty product for the next 8 months. It wouldn't matter. That 200 mil is guaranteed. You know what I'm saying for the year. And with everything going on and no audience being allowed inside these arenas, and the product kind of just keeps slacking and these regurgitated storylines. I mean, I've been watching SmackDown and shit recently. They have the same fucking match every fucking night, man, for like a whole month straight with the same finish. And then for
Oh
those of you who
man.
don't know, I mean, the finish is the ending of the match. I mean, same for you have Roman Reigns against somebody, and it ends in freaking outside interference. Reigns cheats, wins. They got the same six people on SmackDown the whole fucking time. Rinse, repeat, regurgitate. I can't even tell you about Raw. And I mean, I have recently acquired the WWE Network thanks to a good friend of mine at work. I mean, you're right. The hottest commodity for that product is the Attitude Era, is the past. It's the most valuable resource and asset Vince has
Facts.
with WWE.
Facts.
It's the selling point for the whole app. You want to see Stone Cold, you want to see Bret Hart, you want to see the
Man.
NWO, you want to see some of the championship matches from AWA, and I mean all
Oh.
like all those old, what I'm saying, all the regionals, what I'm saying, the
Man.
territories, All
Dog.
that shit's in there.
Oh man, you like and not even to step on what you were saying. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Keep cooking, bro. Keep cooking.
No, you're good, man. You're good. It's the most valuable thing you have. So it was security, and they know the future product. I don't care how many WrestleManias you do afterwards. I don't care if you have Roman Reigns and The Rock go at it mainline to head WrestleMania. The shit is going on a decline, man. UFC is taking over. The shit is going on a decline, and your most valuable part of your product is literally your past. Everything's in the
Mm-hmm.
past, and you sell that exclusively to a company that's not yours, and they
Right.
can do whatever they want with it on on your network. It kind of leaves you like no one gives a fuck about what you do right now. That's almost like you're
Mm-hmm.
spiraling even you're spiraling even further downward because instead of putting the care into what's going on right now, how can we get more viewers? How can we get more eyes on our product? How can we get things improved? Everyone's coasting, thinking we got the bag, we got 200 mil, we good. And you know what I'm saying? And it
Yep.
gets to the point where it's like, why even like how much money can you make producing if no one's watching, no one's buying the merch, no one's doing anything because your
Right.
product is just slowly declining and everyone's still buying Stone Cold Austin 316 shirts, which is
Mm-hmm.
now streaming exclusively on Peacock. Relive the 90s. Like they could do a whole marketing campaign on that shit, bro. Now I can see Hulk Hogan's ass coming back for a nice fat check, do a little promo on the NWA days or whatever,
Yep.
Hulkamania.
Yep.
Dude, in the short run, it's good for WWE. In the long run, it could bite them in the damn ass, man. I'll
Right.
be real.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Because I don't see us and I'm oh my god. I'm really glad that we can get into this because we
Long
might
overdue
be
a little bit.
we really might be able to parlay this into some wrestling B-roll, but let's stay on the topic here, right?
Right.
In my opinion, I don't see a day coming where Vince McMahon outright, while he's still breathing and walking on this earth, I don't see a scenario where Vince McMahon outright sells the WWE.
Nah.
That
Never.
there's too much that he put into that to make it what it is for him to just outright give up 100% of whatever it is that he's doing. Day to day, Vince McMahon is still the guy with the headset on, telling the announcers to say what they got to say. Everything goes through Vince McMahon. True or
Man.
false?
True. Blood was spilled, lives were literally lost, and lawsuits were settled in court for this company to be where it's at right now. And that is no bullshit.
Right, right. And like, I'm only laughing because like that's just the tip of the iceberg. If
Yep.
we're really if we really want to get into some of the shit that actually might have taken place. But digress. I don't see a scenario where while Vince McMahon is alive, he gives up 100% control of his company, right? But
Right.
it still kind of sticks out to me that they kind of gave up on the network. It's really, I get it. For $1 billion, the average person walking around on the streets would do anything. You know what I'm saying? For $1 billion,
Yeah.
for $500,000, for $250,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's conversations
Mhm.
that I've had with people to where they've said what they would do for $1,000. So, I don't want to put any of that in perspective. Lil Wayne just sold his publishing for $100 million. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So I don't want to pretend that money isn't a thing because it absolutely is. But the main attraction, the only reason why anyone, for the most part, is paying for that network is the history of wrestling. The history of wrestling in North America, going all the way from the time where it was recognized as a legitimate sport and treated as a sport and had
Mhm.
people all throughout the United States spending hundreds of thousands and then millions of dollars into the sports entertainment era into the Monday Night Wars, into ECW and hardcore wrestling, all the way into the PG era and this modern era of professional wrestling / sports entertainment is on that WWE network. You know, I don't
Yep.
want to be sacrilegious with what I'm about to say here, and I don't want to offend anyone with what I'm about to say here, but the written testament of professional wrestling is available to anyone who wants to pay $9.99 a month, right?
Right.
And again, for anyone who was a fan of professional wrestling, I wonder if you feel a certain type of way knowing that what you thought was a niche independent streaming service catered to you is now just one part of a bigger streaming service. You know what I'm saying? What's the difference between WWE Network being on the Peacock app and all of our favorite Saturday morning Marvel cartoons being on the Disney Plus app? What's the difference?
Ooh, I mean, one's a cartoon, the other one's a whole fucking industry, man. I mean,
And you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it's almost like it almost feels as though being someone who was invested in professional wrestling, either as a sport or as a form of entertainment, I'm not saying that it's being discounted, but you're kind of being sacrificed for the greater good in the streaming wars. It's interesting, but at the same time, it's like, damn, they really came to Vince McMahon and gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. Whereas in years past, Vince McMahon was the guy giving the offer that could not be refused.
Oh shit, dude. Vince would have had you saying he would have had you in the Kiss My Ass Club right in
Man,
the fucking meeting, dude.
facts.
I mean, you're right, man. And it does. I wouldn't say for the average wrestling fan, just for me personally, I would feel a little kind of way like, yo, this whole industry has been relegated to a discount price of $4.99 with ads, $9.99 without ads, but it's not on its own anymore. Like you said, it's a part of a whole broader spectrum of entertainment. And it's like, okay, I get it. It's kind of Peacock's answer to the ESPN kind of aspect that Disney Plus
Facts.
has with the Disney bundle. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the ESPN I think has UFC. They have a UFC deal where they
Uh-huh.
almost have like their own little UFC package with that. So this is kind of a little bit of a counter to that aspect. And here's the interesting thing is because now you have wrestling being exclusive to NBC, and SmackDown is on Fox Sports Network, and you know what I'm saying. So that's conflicting interests right there,
Yep.
and and
Mm-hmm.
and and also ESPN, you like they're gonna Benoit fucking WWE
Ooh,
on their
ooh.
network. They're not gonna speak about they're not gonna speak about WWE on ESPN anymore. Say goodbye to any kind of highlights, any kind of those Undertaker
You
interviews
think
about
so?
his retirement. Oh yeah, that's Disney, man. That's ABC. That's Disney money. I don't
Right,
think
right.
they're not gonna promote product that belongs in the. This is the streaming wars, baby. They're not gonna do that.
Exactly. I
Nope.
agree with you. It's
This is
nothing.
Monday Night War part two, part three.
Yeah. Hey, I
No,
like
they ain't
that.
doing that
I
shit.
like that. Right. It's business. It's not personal.
Right.
I,
It's
I,
not
I agree
personal.
with you. No, that's an excellent way of looking at it because I never looked at it that way. The thing is, because it's just crazy because throughout everything, right?
Hmm.
Throughout the steroid trials of the 1990s that are more or less forgotten about because that was immediately before the wrestling boom of the 90s. Throughout the Attitude Era, where wrestling was a mainstream product, right? Throughout,
Right.
the Ruthless Aggression, the Benoit era, where everything took a turn and kind of had to change. WWE operated in this space of being entertainment that was almost outside of everything else, to where, regardless of network affiliations, and contracts and licensing, WWE was always entertainment that connected everyone. There was never, aside from the networks that Raw might have been coming on, and think about it, like just to back up here, right? You had Monday Night Raw on USA when we were kids in the 90s, and it was on Spike TV. But you had SmackDown on UPN and then the CW, and then
Yep.
fucking Sci-Fi Channel. But in mainstream coverage, you still could see The Rock or Brock Lesnar or Paul Heyman or Kurt Angle do an interview on SportsCenter separate from anything there, because it was never a situation where, oh, just because you wrestle for WWE, you can't appear on ESPN.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're
Right?
right, man.
It was never a situation like that, because wrestling was something that, even if people weren't into it, there was a connection there because there was a level of awareness. And Vince McMahon, being an independent owner of this company, was able to operate within that space. And what you're saying is very interesting, because now with exclusivity, that same access to some of these outlets might not be available anymore.
Yeah, this is kind of scary territory a little bit. Not scary, but in a way of exclusivity is going to be the new way of saying, okay, we can't promote this on this channel. We can't promote that on this channel. We're not going to air Jurassic Park no more on any of these other channels because they're exclusive to Peacock now. You know what I'm saying? Like NBC,
Mm-hmm.
Universal. You know what I'm saying? Like no more Star Wars reruns on TNT. I know, even though TNT is not anymore, but all these things correlate with each other, these streaming wars, and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna find now things are gonna be more restricted in how things are presented now. Your news is gonna be affected differently with different ownership, and it's gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna cock block you because we want our app to be number one. This is the future. We're not fighting for television. We're not fighting for our company for in the next 10 years. We're looking at the next 50 to 100. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
this isn't
right.
this isn't just 20 years. We're looking at it from for 40, 50 plus years on of this being the next big step. And so these are
Mm-hmm.
just now we are now living in the baby steps of that process. This is just the beginning. You know what I'm saying? This is people kind of figuring out how to play chess at first. When they're not even mastering this shit yet, you know?
Right.
You
Cause
know, this is
yeah,
Vince buying up territories, and essentially, putting territories
bro.
out of business. We are slowly seeing the process of that just in streaming.
And with that being said, the craziest part about it is that you would think that the fact that Vince McMahon did that, and you know what I'm saying, the fact that this is something he already did, he bought out all of the territories. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? AWA, NWA, Florida Championship, Mid South, WCW. You know what
Smoky
I'm saying?
Mountain.
Right, like I and it's just crazy. Like, to put it in those terms is perfect. There are no better type of terms to even put that in. And it's just kind of ironic to me that this property could be used in this context or in this particular situation. It's no longer a situation of we want to be able to compete with Disney, right? No, it's not a situation of Viacom and CBS want to compete with NBC Universal. No, now it's one day we want to buy NBC Universal. Like,
Yup.
it
Yup.
literally
Exactly.
it literally evolved from, you know, I'm gonna say the big four of terrestrial television of Fox, ABC, NBC, and CBS kind of being in competition with each other, to all four of these multimedia organizations putting together a war chest and hoping that the other guys run out of resources so that one day we can buy them out.
God damn, dude.
Like,
Yup.
That's literally what it's turned into. We're gonna try to buy up and vacuum as much content as possible and put a premium on it to where you can only
Mm-hmm.
get it here and hope that the other guys run out of bullets before we run out of bullets and hope that in 20 to 30 years from now they're willing to take this $30 billion buyout.
Oh shit. And then
Like,
the customer is like, well, fuck, where do I go? It's become basically like cable again. Like,
yep,
where do I go? I want this, but it's on here. I want that, but it's on there. Like, holy shit, I gotta pay three or four or five motherfuckers for the same thing. And then
yep,
I
yep.
think in response, we're the end consumer. These buyouts is gonna be like, well, shit, I just saved me $9.99 a month. Cool, add it to my
Yeah.
library.
And,
Word.
and and I mean behind the scenes, pardon the pun, the people who are actually having these negotiations are saying fuck the consumer.
Yeah.
to be honest
Basically.
with to be honest with you, fuck the consumer because and I'm saying this as a consumer, but if you're in that situation, if I'm dumb enough, not saying that I am, but if I'm dumb enough to be willing to pay $17.99 for Netflix, which just went up, $14.99 for HBO Max,
Mm-hmm.
$12.99 for the Disney Plus bundle, and then an additional $9.99 for the WWE app, or an additional $8.99 for the Stars app. Fuck
Oof.
the consumer.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
shit,
Like,
dude.
word, fuck the consumer. Like, you know what I mean? If that's really what it comes down to, if the money is going to be spent either way, we might as well go to war. We might as well force the consumer to either get all of their dope from us or go to 4 or 5 different dealers to get their dope. But either way, you still gonna get you gonna get our money either way. You know what I'm saying? It's your choice as a consumer whether or not that $50 you decide to spend is gonna get spent with us, or if you're gonna chop that $50 up 4 different ways. But the guys who ultimately end up losing out are the cable providers and the satellite providers. Those are the guys who lose out.
Yeah,
One,
man.
not to one other thing that I do think I kind of I kind of caught waves of through one of the actual wrestling channels on YouTube is that all of the pay-per-views are going to be exclusive through the Peacock app, right? So this is my question to you. You mentioned them kind of eating off of their past successes, right?
Right.
Now, when that YouTube ad comes out advertising the WWE network on Peacock, do you think it's going to be a new talent that's advertised there? Or do you think they're going to rely on a Stone Cold, a Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Ric Flair, any of these legends? Or do you think that they're willing to trust marketing one of their newer talents in order to get people interested in this app?
Hell no. Hell no, dude. I'm sorry. You're not gonna see Kofi Kingston on that ad. I'm sorry, folks. You're not gonna see the Miz. You're not gonna see any of these new guys really on this thing, man, because to the mainstream, it's Stone Cold. It is The Rock. It is Triple H. It is all these. It is John Cena and Brock Lesnar. I mean, that's you want the mainstream appeal. That's when wrestling was at its most mainstream. So I mean, they're gonna hire marketing. They're not gonna fuck with WWE marketing. They're gonna hire
Nope.
their own marketing. They're gonna go into the bag. They're gonna get good clips. They're gonna hire a couple of them for some cameos, whatever, on the trailer, and
And
then
they're
people
yep,
are gonna be
and
like,
they're
"Oh shit, $4.99. I can watch Monday Night Raw and WCW Nitro." Well, there you go.
and they're gonna spend whatever they gotta spend to pay Ric Flair to put the robe on and say woo. Or they're gonna pay whatever they gotta pay for Hulk Hogan to say, bro, what you gonna do, brother, when Hulkamania comes for you? You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna get Booker T on there saying Disney Plus.
We coming for you, nigga.